Alright, today we're going to disassemble the XDM slide to clean out the firing pin channel and the extractor area. As always, first thing we want to do is verify that the firearm is completely unloaded. And while the slide is back, we want to rotate the takedown lever, release the slide, bring the slide right off the front, remove the recoil spring, guide rod, and lift out the barrel assembly. Alright, before you start the disassembly of the XDM slide, you need to wear eye protection. There are a lot of strong springs in here and things can be launched out of here if you're not careful. So, first thing we need to do is get this rear cover off. And it slides off in this direction, but it's being held in place by this pin in the back. So this pin needs to be pushed down. Use a 1/8 or so pin punch, wear safety goggles. So what you want to do is push the pin down pretty far until the cover starts to move, and then push the cover out of the way. I get your thumb over here to kind of hold it out of the way as you pull the pin punch out. And right now the cover is slightly off. Make sure you keep your thumb over here because there's a spring that's going to pop up. Okay, when I pull this out, you're going to see this popped up, and this can be launched across the room if you don't catch that. Alright, so that is just your, and inside that just comes out. This is just the indicator pin that lets you know that the striker is cocked. Alright, and after you get the indicator pin out, in order to get the firing pin and striker mechanism out, we need to remove this pin right here, which goes through the slide from top to bottom. I have what's called a smart bench block, got a magnet on it to help keep track of screws that get loose. But what it does is it keeps this up in the air because I'm going to knock this pin out from inside to outside. So we need to have it up in the air a little bit so the pin has a place to go. You can use a roll of duct tape, or you can just do it on the side of the bench, or you could probably even just hold it in your hand. But I'm going to use a 3/32 punch, and I'm going to punch the pin out from the bottom, just a few taps. Alright, and now the pin has fallen out the bottom. After punching that out, you can pull out the striker and also the spring that sits in front of the striker. And if you look down inside here, there's a little pin right there that we want to pull out. Just get a small screwdriver in there. There's a little notch in the end. Just kind of lever that out like that. Alright, and when you pull that out, this little safety plunger might pop out like mine just did. That was sitting in there like that with a spring underneath of it, and that spring also came out. So those are the two pieces that come out of this notch right here. Alright, now next we want to take a very small pin punch and we want to knock this pin out that holds the chamber loaded indicator. It's going to be a 1/16 punch. Alright, so to get the chamber loaded indicator out, tap this pin out. That comes out pretty easy. And then once you remove the pin punch, your chamber loaded indicator and spring will come right out. Be careful with that spring, it's very tiny. So the last piece in here that we would want to get out is the extractor right here. So if that's just dirty, we're going to be able to clean that while it's still in the slide, because there is a special tool that you need to kind of lever that out of there, which I don't have, and I'm just going to leave that in there. Maybe we'll get some gun scrubber to spray in there and get it nice and clean underneath and around that. Alright, now I'm just going to spray to get the rest of the crud that's down in here underneath and next to the extractor. I'm going to use Birchwood KC gun scrubber, and we're going to use it and just clean all that area out. We want to be careful not to spray it directly onto the sights. Alright, let's go ahead and just spray this real good in here. Alright, just going to let that drip dry for a couple of minutes, and looks like we got it pretty good. We'll take it back up, dry it off with the cotton swabs, and we'll be done. After I sprayed down the slide in the extractor area with Birchwood KC gun scrubber in the garage, it came up okay, and that's the way you might want to do it if you don't have the tool to get this out. But I decided I wanted to get it out, so I did make myself a tool to get it out. Next, I'm going to show you the tool and how it works. So I found a little wrench that was part of a hardware kit laying around in my garage, and I took a Dremel tool to it with nothing but the cutting wheel. So I used a cutting wheel to cut off the other side of the wrench. It looked like this on both sides. And then I just ran the cutting tool up and down the side here to make it thinner, so it had to be thin enough to fit into the slot in there. And then I Dremeled a little hook right on the end there, and lo and behold, it works perfectly. You just stick it down in here, move it up, and using a lever action, it just pulls that extractor right on out of there. And it was not that hard to make. Alright, so this is what the extractor looks like. Alright, and I'm glad I got it out because there's a little bit more crud on here than I could really get out with the spray. Alright, now that we have everything removed except for the extractor from the slide, we're going to go ahead and clean up all these pieces, get them wiped down. We're going to clean the firing pin channel and all the other areas inside the slide here, and then we're going to put it all back together.